Hello beauties, welcome to part 2 of skincare rituals. Oh, it's not even showing. So now that you have the basic structure for your routine, we're going to get a little bit more into the body of it. So that would be the cleansing, balancing, hydrating, and nourishing. For this portion of the skincare ritual series, we will talk about skin type and the key indicators of each one. So skin types are determined by genetics. You are born with a particular skin type, and a lot of the other things that come up like dehydration are more of a condition that can occur. That also includes sensitized skin, which for a lot of people that think that they have sensitive skin, it's just actually that your skin has been sensitized by the use of certain products or more medical grade prescriptions. Knowing your skin type will give you a foundation for the best way to nurture your skin. We are of the earth, and just as the earth has different climates, as does our skin. The different skin types are going to be oily, combo, normal, and dry. So while you may already have an idea of what your skin type is, we're going to address it today as it's your very first time analyzing your skin. Typically in a professional treatment, this is either done right at the beginning with a magnifying glass or after cleansing and exfoliating. This is because that's the best way to see where your natural skin is without any makeup or products. At home, the best time I like to evaluate my skin is right in the morning. So now I will go over each skin type and what to look for with each one. Something to keep in mind is that these will be more common things that you've seen perhaps your entire life. If you've really not ever paid attention to your skin, it would be something to look for within the next few weeks. So just because you feel a certain way today, it could just be an indicator of diet or other factors. So we'll get more into that later. Normal skin has harmonious oil and water. Key indicators of this are going to be a soft, supple feel. Your complexion will be radiant and your pores will be barely visible. So if you've never really noticed your pores at all, this is probably an indicator of normal skin. Dry skin lacks oil. Key indicators of this are going to be overall dull gray complexion, sometimes red, sometimes itchy or flaky. Another thing to look for would be more small pores that are easily congested, which that can mean anything from blackheads to when you break out, it's typically a bunch of little red bumps. Combination skin is typically an oily T-zone, so that would be the entire forehead, nose, and chin area, sometimes a little bit into the cheeks right here around the nose. That part would be more oily, and then this part being more dry to normal, which that typically depends on the season. Key indicators of this would be that you really notice seasonal changes in your skin, so maybe times it's more tight or flaky, and then other times it's more soft and supple. Another thing would be that you wake up and your T-zone is immediately oily, or you notice throughout the day, especially when you're wearing makeup, that your T-zone starts to get oily specifically, and other parts tend to get more flaky or dried out. Pore-wise, this would look like a little bit larger pores around the T-zone and smaller pores in this area. And lastly, oily skin. Oily skin lacks water, so this is going to look a lot shinier. Sometimes people feel greasy or think that they look greasy. The skin appears a little bit more thicker because it does have a little bit more resilience. There is going to be typically larger pores. And before you attach to one skin type, I want to remind you that you want to think of your skin experiences overall and evaluate this over a couple weeks. So if today you resonated with a few of the things that I talked about, just go ahead and confirm that throughout the next 2 weeks. Keep in mind that internal health does impact your skin conditions and overall skin expression. Some high-level impactors that are often missed in your at-home routine are going to be new medications, If you've just recently moved as well, your house could be affecting everything in your internal health world, especially if you've moved to a different geographical location. So if you've just moved cities or states, that's going to be different weather and a lot of other things. And then also any diet changes or increased stress. Something I recently learned as well was that your skin type does apply to your entire skin as a whole. I don't know why I didn't put those two and two together. I think it's really easy to sort of disconnect the neck and face in skincare as like, this is what I'm going to take care of, this is what gets wrinkly, this is what shows, and the body sort of gets a little lotion and we call it a day. But where this helps us with determining skin type is you can think about your lifestyle, and if you've always needed lotion because you're more dry on your legs specifically, I think that'd be a really common one for women. And then if you've just felt oily everywhere, so maybe like your arms and skin are like more thick and shiny typically on a normal day, that's a really good indicator that you were born with oily skin. So all of this information is going to help us choose our products. If you've ever gotten a skincare consultation of any kind, typically that's why we're asking so many questions, because there's so much that goes into how to help the skin, and it's not necessarily treating conditions all the time. Sometimes it's just nourishing and hydrating, the things that we talked about in this basic skincare ritual that you can do at home. My level of expertise is really around holistic products, so that's what I'm going to speak on. I'm not gearing you away towards anything that you've been currently using. This is just me speaking on holistic products. With those, getting started, it's really important that you go straight to the ingredients, the back label you typically, or the side of the box. In skincare, you don't want to be strayed by pretty packaging that looks really eco-friendly or looks holistic. There's just a lot of mixed marketing and a lot of it's not regulated right now, so it's important that you just look at the ingredients, and this doesn't have to be overwhelming. What I like to do is look at the first 5 products, and why I do that is that the ingredients are typically in order from most prevalent, like how much of the ingredient is in your skincare. So say I'm looking at something, the first ingredient is water, so that's mostly packed with water, and then second is aloe vera, so it's primarily going to be water and aloe vera, and the rest of the ingredients are going to be less and less prevalent in the product. Simplicity in ingredients is really important as well, unless you're going to be getting a professional recommendation or doing a lot of research on ingredients, which even then there's so many ingredients. I really love to just invest in products that are under 10 ingredients. Just like anything else, that can really vary, but that's a really great place to start. Is if you just see over 10 ingredients, just no go, move on, look for one that's going to be a little bit easier to digest in the moment and easier to work with, because you're going to know what you're putting on your skin, and that's really important. You're looking for more water-based products. What to look for generally with that is going to be translucent, light feeling, typically more gel or noticeably water-based products. With oil, the look and feel gets a little bit more complex just because it is so varied. With oily cleansers, if it's just an oil cleanse, you're gonna have usually an oil by itself, so you'll be able to notice that very easily. Then you'll also get formulations that foam up a bit. Oily moisturizers are going to be typically thicker white creams or thicker consistency overall. So if you're having to like warm it up in your fingertips, that typically means there's more of an oil mixed with perhaps shea butter or more emulsifying ingredients. It's important to find harmony in your entire skincare routine, making sure that the products are working together instead of just solo trying to do their own thing. Some basic guidelines for making this all a little bit more cohesive are going to be the following. 1, using a toner after any cleanser that isn't just a basic oil cleanse. What this is going to do, as we talked a little bit about in the first video is balance out your pH. So just a reminder, that is something that you're always going to want to do after cleansing because it's going to change your pH if it's not just an oil cleanse. As a reminder, this creates a proper base for absorption of the rest of your products. So that's why we're talking about the cohesiveness of it. And another little tip is if you're going to do a mask, I recommend doing the mask either in place of your cleanser or before the toner. 2. Masks can be drying if overdone. Typically, I would never recommend a clay mask more than twice a week. Think of it as indulgence. While it's necessary for us to indulge sometimes, you can overdo it. 3. Introduce new products one at a time, giving your skin 24 hours to get acquainted with the new product. For more concentrated products like a serum or an eye cream, you're going to want to give this a little bit longer. I'll usually use a doubling method. So what this would be is the first week you get it, you're going to use it once in that entire 7 days. You're going to let your skin breathe, give it some time to look for reaction. Reaction would be like little red bumps, itchiness, particularly in the area where you applied it, or just your skin feeling different than it normally does. Then you would go up from there. So the next week you would try it 2 times in the week. The week after that you'd try it 4 times. If on the 3rd week you do it the 4 times, all 3 weeks you really love the product, your skin's responding well, you can then up it to 8, which 8 would be sort of a morning and night routine on those 4 days. Please keep in mind that a lot of concentrated products cause photosensitivity. A really common one that's used nowadays is vitamin C. There's a lot of watered down vitamin C on the market, but if you're using a really stable vitamin C, it is going to be beautiful in creating effects for your skin, but it is also going to make you sensitive to the sun. So please be mindful of that and either wear your sunscreen every single day and reapply every 90 minutes, or wear a hat, do both. Stay out of the sun. The car does count for sun, by the way, so if the sun's just hitting you while you're driving in your car, that counts. If you're in your office and you've got a window and the sun's hitting you, that counts as well. So you just really want to take that extra care. In a couple weeks, we will do part 3 of your skincare routine, and that will have more to do on the soul connection to this mind and body that we've now explored of my skincare ritual series. And if you have more specific questions or you'd like some one-on-one skincare coaching, I am still offering that on my website. We've got a lot more coming to you on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching.